What's up, everybody? You guys about to debut. This is too much fun. Hopefully, we get a few people out here checking you guys out. We're a couple minutes early, you all, before we go. But if you can, hop over to YouTube. Make sure I don't have any echoes going on. You know how these devices get. Yeah. See if we can get some folks in the room. See a couple of y'all jumping in there. Mm-hmm. Who out here? Put something in the chat if you out there and you're watching. Let me know. Who out there watching you guys finna see what we about to do. Yeah, I enjoy this, you all. It was a great conversation. And you know your boy stay dropping gems. That's gonna be my new little, we dropping. Like instead of a mic drop, we dropping gems. Yeah. It's about to go down. I'm gonna mute myself, you all, but I might jump.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Abundance Tree Podcast. I'm your host, Janice Luke, and I'm here with my co-host,
April Capri. Welcome.
How are you doing tonight?
I am hanging in there. How are you?
I'm good. Right, we're hanging in there. I like that blouse. It looks really nice. I love it.
Thank you.
You always
It's
look
so comfortable.
nice.
It's stretchy, girl. I love stretchy. Stretchy works for me.
Yeah, me too. You always look nice. That's awesome.
You too. I'm loving your hair. It's just grown and flowing, girl.
Oh, thank you. So, we ready for tonight's guest? We have a special guest tonight.
We are very ready for our guest tonight. We have an author and a digital creator whose inspiring journey from adversity to academic success is truly remarkable. He overcame his teenage challenges and years of incarceration. He earned his GED in prison and then later achieved both a bachelor's and a master's degree in English and creative writing. His writing is fueled by a blend of education and his life experiences, and it resonates with authenticity and depth. He is a dynamic speaker and empowers audience with compelling stories, inspiring them to embrace change and unlock their potential for positive transformation. We have Ernest Moss, also known as Coach Big E.
Oh, Coach Big E.
Coach Big E.
Ernest.
Big E in the house.
What's going on? What's going on, Queen?
How are
How
you?
everybody doing?
We're excited to have you tonight, so thank you for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Always excited to spread the gospel, the good news.
Awesome. So, wherever you want to start, spread the gospel. What's the gospel? What's your journey like?
My thing is, I want everyone and people ask me, so what's your goal? And my goal is to impact everybody that hears the sound of my voice. And that's a big goal. And I also put a goal out on Facebook, and a few people thought I was crazy, that I want to touch the lives of 1 billion people. We have about 8 billion, close to 8 billion right now. I just want 1 billion of that. And the best way we can do that is with podcasts like yours, and different technologies to where we can reach people. Think about it. Even in Jesus' day, in Moses' day, in Confucius, Buddha, all these great gurus that we all know about, none of them had technology. None of them had the reach that we have. Not even Jesus Christ. If Muhammad, whoever you want to claim to be your savior, to be your leader, whoever, they did not have the reach that we have by having this technology. So I think this is the greatest time of the human generations of our lives. And I'm going to definitely utilize this technology to get this message out, because we got some things going on, you all, that can really unleash the true ultimate human that you are, because we are apex, and people don't understand that. They want to look up in the sky for a bird or a plane, and they want to look down for a goat that's red with horns, and they want to look at all these old crazy things that we believe in that are metaphoric, and we take it as actual, but where they truly don't look is within, because we are so great and so dynamic, but we don't give ourselves the props that we should, because we are the apex. Ladies, I'm going to say this, and hopefully it doesn't rub you all the wrong way, but you all are goddesses, and I am a god. I am a deity walking flesh. This is why Jesus said, y'all gonna do way more than what I did. And last I heard, this man raised the dead. So what more can you do than that? Heal the blind, the sick. He did all this, and he said you all can do even more once you get in tune with who you are. Because in the Bible it says you were made in his image and after his likeness. What does that mean? Like, we say it all the time. Yeah, you made in the image and after the likeness. And we say those things, but what does it really mean? And what I teach my young people and everybody at the sound of my voice is that you are a deity walking flesh. Right now, you are a deity walking in the flesh, because of any of the creations on this earth, name one above us. You got the elephant, huge, way bigger than us. We ride him. You got the lion, ferocious, could kill a man like that. We hang him on the mantle, his head. The biggest fish, the sharks. I've caught a shark, by the way, a 6 foot, 200-pound bull shark. The hardest thing I ever pulled on in my life. Yeah, I have video for that. If you all want to go out and check out the YouTube page, it's definitely out there. But
That's probably about close to that shark. I'm gonna get is that video too. I watched it. I'm cool on that.
Hey, you know, it's so funny. People look at sharks. They look at sharks and they see the big teeth, and they see the ferociousness, and they see the shark bites and what it can do because they can. They're an apex predator. But you know who you know who can do what they want to do with sharks? Not just humans. We make shark skin boots and belts out of sharks. So even though they look ferocious and got those big teeth, in the sea, the shark is an apex predator until that orca comes around. And for those that don't know what an orca is, we're talking about a killer whale. We're talking about that one that's in SeaWorld that's playing with you, that you get the rub on.
Free Willy.
Free Willy. The black and white. Those are the orcas. Now, if you do your research on an orca, when orcas show up, the great whites and all the sharks go away, and they may leave that water for a year. Why? Because the orcas are so intelligent and they hunt in packs that they will find any shark and have him as dinner. And these are the same SeaWorld orcas, Free Willies that we play with, but they will tear a shark up. So in this world that we live in of coaching and entrepreneurship, you see a lot of sharks. But when you talk to the big fish, they call themselves whales. They don't call themselves sharks. And how do they look? They put on tuxedos. What is an average tuxedo? It's black and white, like that orca. So these little sharks that's making this noise, that's biting on folks, that's taking advantage of people, the orcas sit back and be like, I'm gonna have them for dinner. So when I pull up, I don't care how much money you got, how much shine you got, the Lambos, the Ferraris, all these big things, when they feel my energy, they realize them sharks don't want no part of it. So
let me fast forward a little bit, because I love that. There's a couple of things you say. You have some young people, and you're also that you're a coach, correct? Because I wanted to touch on more like you coach young men, or
yes,
touch on that.
Absolutely. What's the formula? Go out there and follow us. You'll see this big egg all over the place. We're on YouTube, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're in all the platforms. And what we do is we minister to young people, and we teach them what's the formula to be successful. And we do it with young men. Although I have a daughter. I was a girl dad before anything. So my sweetheart, love you, babe. Okay. But I focus on the young. Yeah, I'm all that. You can't tell me about poverty. But what my mom did was she never and I created the WTF, which is What's the Formula Mentoring Academy. And our target is teenagers between the ages of 13 to 18. And I coach, and I have several other coaches that coach these young men. And we guarantee this, any parent out there, if you have a teenager and you cannot connect with them, first of all, there's a book out there called Adulting, WTF, which means What's the Formula? And it's 5 steps to prepare your teen for independence. You can check this out on Amazon, or you can DM your guy and I can shoot you a link and give you a free copy of this book. And it started this program, the WTF, because a lot of people see WTF and they think, what the? But no, we're changing the narrative. It's What's the Formula? And we have 3 different formulas that we teach within 12 weeks. And give me a second, I'm gonna break this down real quick. The very first formula that a lot of people don't get is BS. Like, wait a minute, you teaching the kids BS? No, it's their belief system. because before anything, I can give you all the plays on how to make money with insurance, how to make money with real estate, how to do the stocks, the day trade. You can get all that. But if you don't have the belief system in you, none of it is going to allow you to be successful. Even if you get lucky and hit a lick, as the youngsters call it, I hit a lick, you're going to come right back to who you are, because that money is going to go away real fast because your belief system. I mean, we see it every day with athletes, and it's not as bad as what it used to be. But in my day, those athletes didn't understand that you had to grow as your pockets grew. If not, your pockets was going to shrink down to who you were. So you see people getting $100 million contracts and being broke. How is that even possible? Give me $100 million. Guarantee
right.
I ain't never gonna be broke.
We've seen that too often with these
So many times.
these pro players, you know. Wow.
So many times. Yep. Doing these little infomercials and stuff. They've been in the game for 10, 20 years, and it's just like, I can see.
And what it is that they've been programmed. That everybody has a blueprint. And what we teach our young people through the belief system is how to change your blueprint. Now you can't control your genes. You were given, you were born this way with certain genes, and your body is a body of memory. And people don't know this is the greatest form of memory you ever get. Why? Because you got the same nose of somebody 200 years ago that you got your genes from. That's how much memory this body got in it. You could be a chip off the old block just based on the memory. Think about it.
I'm thinking
no, that's so beautiful though. It really is.
It is, and it's great. So the body is great. The body is beautiful, but the body is built off of memory. So what happens throughout our life? We build a body of memory. We remember what it feels like to touch that hot stove. We remember what it feels like to have your first kiss. We remember what it feels like to do your first pill or drug or drink. We remember these things, and the body remembers. And it remembers that shot of dopamine you got from doing that. And it's like, hey, I want some more of this. And a lot of people get addicted because they want that shot of dopamine. And dopamine is something that comes from the brain. And that's where the word dope comes from, because you have that within you. This is a body of chemicals. And I teach this to my people all the time, is that you have a body of chemicals. Everything in this atmosphere, in this world, is within you. It talks about that in the Bible when it says you were made from the earth and we breathe into your lungs. But because you were made from the earth, you have all the minerals, everything within you. And now, as we're growing up, we have a chemical imbalance. So we need a pill to balance us. We need a drink. We need a smoke to balance this body of chemicals, because we haven't studied the manual to this body. And we say, oh, it's not about the body. Oh, very much so. It's about the body. But guess what? Here's the beauty of the body. It follows this. You can have all the memory in your body that you want. If he's in control, the body will conform. It'll tell you, it'll send a signal like, hey, man, I don't like this. Hey, man, I'm hungry. Hey, I like, this hurts. It'll send you signals to the brain, and then the brain will tell it what to do. Or your body will tell your brain what to do. And oftentimes when your body takes control, that's where you find addiction and substance abuse and a lot of people doing hurtful things, because the body is all about the dopamine and about the different feelings and reactions. But this egg up here, he can control all of that. I give people this example real quick, and you can research this. Anyone listening to this, go out there and look up he was a monk. And they were protesting. It was in the 80s. This is why Richard Pryor burnt himself up with drugs. But if you know the story, then you know there was a monk, and they were protesting in the middle of the street some injustice. And this monk was so in tune with who he was inside that he lit himself on fire, and he sat there in the monk position. I forgot what they call it, but he sat there like this and didn't move. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I've felt fire. I ain't standing still if my body is engulfed in fire. He literally died in the streets to protest, and he stayed right, so he didn't move. And when Richard Pryor saw this while he was getting high, he thought, I'm gonna do the same thing. So when he lit himself on fire, he was running down the street.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness.
Never knew that backstory.
The facts. Look
Oh
it up.
my
I never
God.
lie. It's no cap.
Wow.
These are facts. But I'm giving that harsh example because a lot of people, that's what Rick James said, cocaine is a hell of a drug. He meant that. But Richard Pryor will tell you that too, made both of them rest in peace, two of the greats. But now that we realize that, hey, the body is amazing, but this thing right here, when you can get this in alignment and him in control of this, that's when, just like Jesus was God body. All that stuff, and it's all with this right here. But here's the problem that a lot of people face, and a lot of people don't know this. I know you ladies do because we talked about it. A lot of people don't know is that 95% of what we do, we're running on autopilot. 95%. Think about that. That's like, man, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
We are very habitual. Humans are habitual. And so we get into a rhythm. And why do we do that? Because the subconscious, the one that's running it, is trying to keep you comfortable, trying to keep you in your lane. Like people say, stay in your lane, stay in your comfort zone. The comfort zone will choke out any greatness that you have, because you cannot be great if you remain in your comfort zone. The great ones are the ones that buck the system, the ones that go against what's going on and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm not comfortable with this. But in order for you to do that, you have to be in tune with who you are. So back to what we teach these young people is that BS, that belief system. And once we get into that belief system, we have to tear it down in order to build it back up, because a lot of these belief systems are strong and they'll defend what I'm doing. They'll defend this, and you don't understand. It's because of this, it's because of that. And once we get past that point, because, you can't come at me with nothing that I can't rip down real quick, because I'm an architect and I believe in building people. But as you all know, some of these belief systems are just that. They're BS and they need to be broken down. So again, just like the WTF, we play with the BS and we play with a lot of these acronyms, and plus the teenagers like it.
But I like how you make it positive, because I mean, we all know what WTF is, but I like how in BS, but you make it into good things, like you're switching it back to the good. And I think that that's a good segue into starting to reprogram, some of these negative things that we were taught. So I really love that you're doing that. I think it's a dope way to reach people too, on a level to where you kind of catch their attention, like, what is he talking about? That's really cool.
Hey,
I can definitely relate.
Yeah, and you ain't lying about those belief systems. I had a friend that would, she would stand still. We would be walking down the street. You remember splitting the pole?
Mm-hmm.
If I walk, God forbid, I walk on the other side of that pole. I will not move until I walk back around on the side.
Be superstitious.
Man, people are really held by what they believe for whatever reason, like you said, like patterns and, creatures of habit, and it's in us,
Yeah, some of that, unfortunately, is limiting beliefs as well. Like, I've struggled with confidence and getting out there and being uncomfortable to even approach people. And I know that's how we met at the Path to Prosperity conference. And I was scared to death to approach you, but I'm glad we did, because now you're on the podcast.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, so I'm really, I can relate to that. Like, I'm a boy mom too. I'm biracial too, so I have 4 boys myself, so I can relate to the whole story. And that's why we did the podcast too, because we want to let people know, hey, there's other ways to be successful. We want to know the journeys. It's not just one belief system. We want to know the non-traditional path, the unique path, be yourself, be authentic, and that's what we want to celebrate. So that's so good that you're doing that.
It is. And your path is very non-traditional, right? Just from your bio already. You got your GED, behind the wall, but you made that into something really, really good.
Right.
So that's, and that's God. If you think about it, all the stories, who did he use? He used most of the people that was messed up. The drunks, the murderers, King David, a man after God's own heart, was the biggest hoe in the Bible. His daddy wasn't far from his south.
That's how you said it. I'm so sorry.
He was. I mean, I love King David. That's my favorite guy in the Bible, you know.
Yeah.
But he was. I mean, he was horrible. And yet he sit on the throne with God. Like, think about that. Like, and I'm not condoning it, because for everyone that doesn't know, I'm married and I've never cheated on my wife. And it's been almost 5 years that we've been together. And I don't have a side, nothing. Like, you can't even block. You better not come to me with nothing. I'm blocking you every time. I don't have time for it, because me and my wife have been in the honeymoon for almost 5 years. Every day that I wake up to her, I'm in the honeymoon state. I'm never letting that go. And you can program yourself to be that way. Or you can use that old programming that I was raised, because I had to reprogram myself to be able to deal with my queen. Because my old program was like, hey, it's 9 to 10 women to each man. You're supposed to have all of them at once. Like, this is what my elders programmed me to believe. Like, this is my mother, and may she rest in peace, did not believe there was a man ever that was faithful. And King David was one of those topics, but still yet, you can reprogram yourself. And it takes some discipline. My teenagers hate it when I say this, but I say, y'all need that big D in your life. Like, wait a minute, what you pause. That's what they say. Pause, man. Pause. I said, you need that big D in your life, and that'll get the attention. It'll get a female attention too. She's like, wait a minute, what you talking? We talking about discipline. But my thing is, I want to get your attention. Because if you can get somebody's attention, you can help bring about change. So we play with these words. And of course, we're not being disrespectful. We don't, use profanity and different things like that. You don't have to do that, but discipline is a major factor in reprogramming yourself. Because here's the thing, back in the day when the computers first came out, you get this computer, you got a monitor, it's equipment, you got the mouse and keyboard, and you turn it on and it lights up, it's beautiful, and don't nothing happen until you put a program in it. Think about that. Just like a baby, when they're born, that's your computer. It's pretty, but that baby has to be programmed. And according to the neurology, all these doctors, I got a GED, but all of these actually I have a master's degree, but
bachelor's in anatomy, right?
Master's, yeah.
I do.
Okay.
But I didn't go to high school. I was expelled in the 9th grade in the first semester for fighting. And I was sent to the bad school where the pregnant girls and the alternative school, if you want to call it that. But I was sent there because I was a knucklehead, and I stayed there for a semester, and I went to juvenile from there, and I had to wait until I turned 16 to take my GED. And when I turned 16, I took my GED and I scored like a 323 on it the very first time. And if you know the GED scores, it used to be 225 or 215 to pass it. And I was in the threes, and they were sending me junior college pamphlets at the age of 16. But my teachers would say, you're so smart, why you keep getting in trouble? It's because I was bored at school, and I was tired of living in poverty at home. And I was the oldest of those young men. So crack hit and the hustle game hit, and I was good with math. So I hit the streets. And, at the age of 18, I had a 20-year sentence. As a teenager, this is another reason why I focus on the teenage young men, because when I was 18, I had a 20-year sentence, and they made me do 12 years of that 20-year sentence. I didn't get off parole till 2014.
Wow.
So if you think about it, that was 9 years ago.
Wow.
I got off parole, but I caught this case in 1994 during the heat of the gangbang epidemic.
The war on drugs, all that.
The war on drugs and crack. All that, I was right in the middle of it. And at the age of 16, I had an apartment, I had 4 cars, and I had a group of men older than me selling crack for me. I was the boy that walked amongst the lions. But I was so intelligent at the time, and I was into the masterminding since I grew up with the little brothers, that it was something always different about me. And even the old folks would tell me, there's just something different about you. And I feel like it's something different about all of us, but we haven't tapped into it. And what we teach these young people is that you are unique. You are one of one. You have a lot of people that look like you, a lot of similarities with your parents and things, but you are one of one. There is no, this fingerprint, there's one of one. Ask the police. Ain't nobody got your fingerprint. That's how unique you are. But we're told, no, you be like everybody else. You fall in line with the group. You get graded under the same system in the school system. We're going to grade you the same as everybody else. When they take away your uniqueness, you're not unique. You think you're better than. It's not being better or worse. It's the fact that I'm unique. And if you all know artwork, if you're one of one, there's no price tag they can put on it. And that's what I teach every young man and everybody that hears the sound of my voice. Once you understand and believe in yourself and believe that you are this walking deity that God said in Genesis, then, now we can work. Now I got your attention. Now we got these formulas that we can set up for you to reprogram your mind. Yeah, I know we all went through the worst. We went through, I wrote a book on it, literally a book on it. Go out there and get that Corporate Convict. It's on Amazon. DM me if you want a bulk order. I promise you, I'll give you a good deal. We have the Audible out there also. But I wrote a book on poverty and how to come up out of it. Because while I was on parole, I got to give you this story, you all. I did have my GED at 16. I was in prison at 18. I got out. I was 28 years old. I got out for 1 year, went back for being in the car with my best friend in the passenger seat, and he had drugs in the back. I'm already on parole, so they gave me 2 more years to do. During those 2 years, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I said, no, it's time to reprogram. And I reprogrammed myself, and I got out of there in 2007. And that was the last time I ever seen the inside of a jail. What I did was I was already enrolled in college from prison. I knew my parole date in June of 2007. I started September of 2007. I did my FOSFA, my student pen, everything from penitentiary, not from jail, from prison. Yeah. And when I hit the streets running, I got my associate's degree, straight A's. Now remember, I didn't go to high school. I got straight A's the first 2 years, kept going and got 1 B during my whole bachelor's. And then I went for my master's, got 1 more B. So through the whole 6 years of my college career, I got all A's and 2 B's.
What is your book about? It's called what is it?
Corporate Convict.
Corporate Convict. What's your book about?
So my book is not about prison, number one. Most people think that when they see convict. It's about the day I got out of prison for the very last time. I said, this is it. And while I was in prison, and you'll read this in the book, people ask me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I told them I see myself walking into my office, telling my administrative assistant to hold all calls while I'm in the suit carrying a briefcase sitting at my desk. And I was in prison, and they told me, man, you got to be out your mind. What type of fool? You ain't finna do that. You in prison. How you gonna do that?
See,
yeah.
Hey, it's what Nipsey Hussle
That's why
said.
You gotta be around like mine. See how people do you?
The great Nipsey Hussle said this. May he rest in peace. He said, if you have a circle that's not building you up and bigging you up, you don't have a circle, you have a cage. And I was in a cage at the time. So this was to be expected because I done been out and went back. So I'm doing reentry. Like if you look at the statistics out there, I think it's like 70-some% that go back.
Yeah.
They go back. And here's what the guards told me.
And falling in that trap.
Yeah.
This is what the guards told me the day I walked up out of there. Because I was talking to stuff. And they like, we ain't worried about it. You'll be back. We'll keep the lights on.
Mm.
I said, yeah, I ain't coming back here. And a funny thing happened. When I was getting off parole, the parole board wanted me to go back to the prisons and teach. So I guess they were right. because I am coming back to them prisons, but I'm coming on a
Look
different
out
tip.
there. Shout out to you. That is so dope.
That is.
Yeah.
You know, that story is so powerful because while you were in the midst of your lowest point, you have the mindset enough to be strong enough to start reading those books, to better yourself, get your degrees, come out and make up your mindset. And you made up your mind not to go back. But now you're going back on a whole different level where you're teaching others. And it's so powerful. So I commend you. I just admire that. That's so great. That's so awesome.
I appreciate it. Hey, and you know what? I'm learning how to accept that.
These young people.
Yeah.
You know, our future is, I'm getting old. I know I look young, I look about 22, but your guy was born in the 70s, and I'm getting up in age, and I believe in our young people. I believe in because again, we were taught how to survive. We were taught survival mode, the Gen Xers were, because I've been where we didn't have food to eat. I was told, drink a big cup of water. You'll make it till in the morning, and you better not pee in the bed. Like, I was taught that as a kid.
That's real talk.
Bringing back memories.
That's real. That's real.
Boy, look at here. I ate so much old bread that when I finally ate some fresh bread, I didn't think it was done. It was too soft. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, it's. But again, shout out to my elders because they did what they could with what they had, and we were happy. But I was that eyeball of the family that didn't like poverty, and I told my mama, I'm gonna make it where you ain't got to do nothing. And before my mother left this earth, she was living in one of my properties that had an in-ground pool that looked over a lake. And she said, this was my mansion. And she passed in her mansion. She finally got to it. And trust me, you all, this wasn't no mansion. But to her, this was her mansion. And I made sure she got that before she left. So I'm happy to be able to do that.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
And also
Mom's is it.
She was something great, especially I remember when we used to look out for each other, the people in the neighborhood and things like that. So I know she had a heart of gold.
Oh yeah, she was. That was my first love, and nobody, my wife, my daughters, nobody will ever change. That was my first love, and she'll always be my first love. And again, this is the motivation by why I deal with these knucklehead teens. But trust me. They knuckleheads, you know, and I got 4 boys myself. I have 5 children. And right now I have 3 teenage young men, and they try me, like, but I understand that they're bucking the system and they're growing up in different times. And I really want to say this to my parents, and I know we're getting close to time, but I want to say this to my parents is please stop comparing your era to their era. There is no comparison. Stop comparing yourself to your children. They see that as a form of bullying. When you say, boy, if I had what you had, I'll be doing this. You're basically telling them that they're not good enough. And you're comparing them to you, and you're the superhero. And they've always looked up to you their whole life as being that deity, being that Superman. And now you're basically insulting your children by comparing them to you and saying, you ain't this, you ain't that, because you haven't been through what I've been through when we were the parents to make sure that they didn't have to drink a big cup of water and make it to the next day. We made sure of that. But we as parents have to reprogram. So the book, the adulting, the WTF, again, is out there on Amazon, and I can definitely send everyone a copy of that book also, because we're not in this to get rich off of our teenagers. We're not in this get rich scheme. I'm a not-for-profit. My business is a not-for-profit. Okay. And we believe in pouring into these young people and to the parents, because just pouring into the teenager is not enough. We also minister to the parents, because the whole book is about the parents and giving them 5 steps to teach their teenager how to become independent. Because right now we live in a world of dependency. Everyone is dependent, especially with this thing. We so dependent on this, but I don't look at the technology as being bad. It's a great thing because now we got the world in the palm of our hands, and anything you want to do, anywhere you want to go, you can figure out how to do it. So it's not about, I don't know, I'm not in this class, I'm not in this class of people. I wasn't raised this way. You can use that as excuses and keep using it as an excuse to justify where you are, or you can use that to catapult you to where you want to go.
Amen.
That's what we teach.
Raising my hand, I was definitely gonna say, like, I'll take a copy of that book.
I know, me too. I tell you,
because adulting ain't easy for nobody.
It is not.
And like I said, I have 4 boys too, and I have 2 of those 2 preteens, so that's gonna be helpful to me as well. So I tell you, y'all need to go follow Coach Big E. Y'all need to go follow Coach E and what's the formula.
Yes.
And
we're out there.
Yeah, so
look us up. I promise you, you'll see your guy. You'll see what's the formula. You'll see this egg is only one. They say I look like Fat Joe, and Fat Joe wish he looked this good, but we're gonna leave that alone. But you see that Fat Joe looking dude, and shout out to Joe. Shout out to Cook Crack, man. Hey, Joey is a good guy, man. I like what he's doing out there. But people always say we look alike, but look for your guy out there. I promise you, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok. We all over the place.
Yes, I'm trying to ask. Where can we find you at? What's your YouTube? What's your TikTok? What's your IG? Go ahead, put it out there.
Yeah, so it's WTF Men's Academy. If you go out, and I'll make sure that the links are, when we go live and we do everything, we're going to drop the links in the description. I'm going to drop the links to the books because I have 3 books. And shout out to Ash Cash, my guy that helped me get past some of the things that I didn't believe in when it came to writing a book, because I always wanted to write a book. He helped me write 3 within a few months. So shout out to my guy, Ash Cash. But we'll make sure those links are out there, and we'll make sure that you all follow us. It's WTF Men's Academy. We got the website out there. Look us up, follow us, share us. We doing it, you all.
Awesome.
You got like 30 seconds.
IG is the same. It's all the same. WTF Men's Academy.
Yeah.
WTF Men's Academy.
Follow Coach Big E.
Right. Well, Coach Big E, thank you so much once again for coming on with us tonight. It was so enjoyable and powerful. So, with that being said,
thank you
all for listening. I'm Janice with the Abundance Street Podcast with April and Coach Big E. Shout out to Coach Big E.
Peace, y'all. Be great.
Bye. Y'all have a great time.
So bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. Hey, I appreciate everyone that jumped out there. Looks like
now let me give you one more scenario on setting goals. When I started making my first list,
and y'all can see who
Mr. Shelf said, Mr. Rohn, looks like we're gonna be.
But Antonia, it looks like you invited a couple folks and everybody else showed up on their own. I know the missus invited some folks, but okay, I see we got a couple out here. Couple likes. But let me stop sharing real quick. Bring it back to your guy. So again, Antonia, I'm gonna shoot you a text message. Shoot me your Cash App. I got something for you. As I stated, whether you want it or not, I need your Cash App because you definitely brought some people with you. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the wife, the daughter, Dion, always giving me props. T Nice, appreciate you showing up. Follow your guy. Listen, hey, this is what we do, you all. And I'm so excited about it. And we're doing big things for 2024. So you're going to see your guy out there. Follow us on all the social medias. And if you got one of those teenagers, I put the link to the book in the chat. If you can't get it, let me know. And don't block me. Never that, girl. What? But again, thank you. You all make this so much fun for me to see you all out there supporting me and giving me my props and helping us change the narrative with these teenagers and with this thing called adulting, because we all need some help. It's different. It's just different. And that's one of the taglines for the WTF. It's just different. We accept that. And we got a challenge coming up in the second week of 2024. You'll see a challenge out there. I promise you it's going to be so dope that you're going to be changed from this 3-day challenge. It's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because what does that mean? WTF. Yeah, we playing on the acronyms again. It's not what's the formula, and we're gonna have a challenge Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the second week of January. You'll see the link coming out there. It's free. You all can register, and we dropping some gems that you think the podcast. We just touched on some things with the podcast. We taking it to a whole nother level with this challenge, because 2024 we expect so much more greatness out of you and greatness out of us. So again, thank you all for giving me some time on your Monday, and share this out with everybody. Peace, you all.